Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. The other day I put out a video in which I was speaking about this idea that when it comes to the stock market, crypto, whatever it is, pick your market, there are market participants with varying temperaments. And so there are some who, when the prices start to go down, they get spooked more easily. They get emotional about it. And when people get emotional, these people, a lot of them are going to be more inclined to sell than others. For instance, me, when price goes down, it does not emotionally impact me. Not anymore. I mean, it used to, but I haven't felt fear in crypto markets in years, quite literally. It just gets, I'm so used to it at this point. I'm just bulletproof when it comes to that stuff. But there's people of varying temperaments. That's the point that I was making, one of the points I was making anyway in a recent video. And I noted that those people that don't get spooked as easily, the more resilient types, it's not that they can't, like if there is enough pain, I'm not saying even they can't feel fear and they won't eventually emotionally respond, but they're less likely to. It takes more for those people to really finally be like, okay, I want to get out. And so the type of people that are more resilient, they're the long-term holders. Well, there's a report that I found interesting. I just came across, so I'm going to share it with you. There's an indication that even some of the longer-term holders are finally like, yeah, I'm out. And historically, according to this particular analyst, when that happens, like, that's the bottom. And I do have a chart I'm going to share with you in this video that indicates something that the last time this particular metric occurred, the way it is now, the last 3 times it did indicate an actual bottom. So not that that's an absolute guarantee, but if history is to repeat, the bottom already happened. We just didn't know it was the bottom when it happened. So we'll see that. But before going any further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Damn it. As I record this, XRP is at 40 cents, Bitcoin hovering just above $30,000, market cap for the asset class $1.25 trillion, and Bitcoin dominance at 45.55%. So all that basically just moving sideways, rather range bound. That's not going to surprise you. Fear and Greed Index, same story. It's at 10 out of 100. Market participants are still in extreme fear. But I wanted to share with you this tweet from an XRP community member who's been in crypto for 11 years. He's been in, he literally bought Bitcoin in 2011. And his background is in finance. And so here's what he tweeted. This could not be more true. And he tagged me. So, Frecky, thank you very much for tagging me in this. And I retweeted this as well. But he wrote the following. In 10 years, you will be a legend if you are still in crypto. Not many will make it from now until then. And to think those who last will be very wealthy if they don't mess it up. It's 100% on you. Okay, truer words have never been spoken as far as I'm concerned, folks. So there's a lot of ways to mess this up. And I think that people are their own biggest hurdle to achieving life-changing wealth in crypto. That's my personal opinion. Because the emotion seeps in. That's the biggest culprit. That's what ruins all of this for so many people. Which is why, for me, I'm not afraid to ride a number of positions down to zero, because I do believe that there will be a handful where I make a fortune on it. And so I just don't care. And so I've just removed the fear. I'm stepping back from it, and I don't care. If I lose a bunch of money on some of these coins, if that happens, whatever. I just don't give a damn. I just, because again, they're not all going to go to zero. Not ever. I don't think so. I'm following stuff. I'm looking for, like where utility exists here. But it is up to me for me to make that type of, opportunity become reality. But my gosh, you just look at how small the crypto asset class is now. Like, can you imagine a world where 10 years from now, it's not in the tens of trillions, if not higher than that? I mean, there should be individual cryptocurrencies, multiples of them, that have multi-trillion-dollar market caps, those ones that are actually solving problems. So I'm just saying, whatever it takes, I'm going to be patient AF. That's all that I'm saying here. And then there was this from chart analyst Michael Vandepop. He said something that was kind of along these lines, and it kind of resonated with me, so I thought I'd share it with you as well. He said, the thing is that people are constantly focused on the negative mentality of the current price action. Oh, I'm losing so much money day in, day out. Yes, been there in 2018 as well. However, these periods are also the periods where the 100x plus runs are going to happen. Now, that rings true to me. Look, we haven't had an alt season in like 4.5 years. do you not think it's going to happen at some point? Yeah, I mean, we've had individual coins here and there that have popped, like obviously, a little over a year ago, Doge went on its insane run. Yeah, all that. So there have been a handful of them, but most of them, no. There was no alt season. There hasn't been yet anyway. Now, I still think that's coming, but what does that mean? If we haven't had that, and we've had a pullback where many coins are now, 85% down from their recent highs, well, what does that mean? I mean, even XRP is down 75% from its high last year of about $2. It's at 40 cents now. Well, what do you think's going to happen? And so that's why I did announce a few weeks ago, I bought crypto for the first time since I think it was either late October or maybe it was early November of last year. I was like, okay, bags packed. I'm waiting. Alt season going to happen at some point. And then we haven't seen an alt season yet, and prices got low enough where I was like, okay, you got me. I'm going to go ahead and buy more. So I haven't bought again since then, but I think I'm going to now. Either later this evening or maybe tomorrow. I was hoping since my last purchase that prices would have gone a little bit lower, but we've been really range bound, and so that hasn't so much happened. So I think I'll finally buy some more, and then if it does go even lower, I'll just consider that a happy occurrence, let's say. But I'm not so sure based on what I'm seeing here. But which brings me to this next article having to do with long-term holders, some of them even capitulating. That's interesting, and mind you too. Bitcoin, I mentioned this in a video the other day, it's had its longest negative weekly run in history. We've had here. Well, here's the headline. Look at this: Bitcoin at $30,000, heading for first green week after 9 in red. So 9 weeks in the red. That's a record. That's never happened before. And at the time of recording this, there's still a few hours until weekly close. So I don't know at the time that I'm recording this anyway what'll happen. It might be up. But it's just interesting to see. So anyway, as far as the long-term holders capitulating, which I find extremely fascinating, this comes from Crypto Potato. I want to share with you what they had to say. It's important to explain that capitulation in investing or trading, just as in its traditional sense, means that someone has lost hope that their position will reach its goal and is finally ready to let go of it. In the current context, the capitulation of long-term holders means that people or entities who held Bitcoin for a prolonged period are departing from their trade, albeit at profit or a loss. Now, this is important because markets tend to bottom out when there are massive losses inflicted on participants. And here's a quote. Markets usually tend to put in a bottom when massive losses are inflicted on the market participants, an event known as capitulation. In bear markets, long-term holders' capitulation usually marks a multi-year bottom. And so, according to them, that's what we're actually seeing right now. They write the following. It's also very important to note that this may not be a one-off event. And it could take weeks or months for long-term holders to capitulate definitively. For example, and there is a chart on your screen right now. For example, back in 2014 and 2015 and in 2018, long-term holders of Bitcoin took months to capitulate, whereas during the vicious pandemic crash of 2020, it only took a few days, as perfectly evidenced from the chart, the chart below. So, what's happening right now? Well, take a look at this now. Here's a chart that was shared by an analyst that goes by the name Plan C. And it's titled Supply Last Active 1+ Years Ago Rate of Change. So it has to do with the long-term holders. Because again, the long-term holders, these are the people that it's safe to presume are a lot more resilient than the short-term holders, which they already capitulated. They're out the game, my friends. So these longer-term holders, it's why it's interesting to see the turnaround. If you're looking at your screen, you can see, if you look in the bottom right where my mouse is now circling, this is the relevant portion. So here's what Plan C had to say about this chart. We just left the green zone, #crypto. Not saying the Bitcoin bottom is in, just proving data. I never rely on only one metric. But the last 3 times this happened, the Bitcoin bottom was already in and a massive bullish uptrend did follow. Will macro make this time different? Yeah, folks, this is in line with what I've been saying. This is why I keep highlighting. I've been consistently highlighting all of these various functions, not just from technical analysts, but if you look at on-chain metrics and other data points, there's a reason I've been highlighting this type of stuff for some time. It's just indication after indication after indication that the bottom's in, or we're super duper close. if history is to repeat. Now, when he's saying, yeah, will macro make a difference this time? Okay, yeah, there's a lot of tumult, let's say, throughout the world. So if something big happens, okay, fine. There are surprise events like for instance, the pandemic, March 2020. That was an outlier event that shook markets intensely, stocks and crypto. XRP got down to 11 cents because of that. So things can happen. I'm not denying that. But outside of something like that, I mean, if I'm a betting man, either the bottom has already occurred, or it's super duper close. But this chart, again, if history repeats, the last 3 times this happened, that means the bottom already occurred. So if this 4th time is history repeating, that's it. Which also means that I don't have much more time to buy crypto, which is part of the reasons, one of many reasons I'm thinking, okay, I do want more at these prices. I was just hoping they go a little bit lower, even though, to be honest, like my bags were packed last year. So this is just like a little bit topping off for me, which is why I'm being a little bit more fussy about the price. Outside of that, if my bags weren't packed, then the adult thing to do from my perspective is what I did for years, which is you just dollar cost average in and don't worry about price. But for me, since I'm just kind of topping off, I've been admittedly a little more fussy about it, but is what it is. The Incredible Crypto chart analyst retweeted that and he wrote, "Bears, make sure your caves are warm. You will need them to hibernate soon." I thought that was kind of funny. It's coming, folks. It's just a matter of time. I'm going to sit here. I'm so glad I get to hang out with all of you because like I said before, I don't have family and friends that are sufficiently interested where I can talk about this with them on a daily basis. A lot of them are in crypto to some degree. Most of them, I assume, just small portion. They don't seem that interested. But I'm glad I got you guys. It'll be so fun to look on this. Like once the bull run finally happens, which from my perspective is pretty much an inevitability, man, it's going to be fun to look back on this and have conversations. And there's going to be all sorts of parties. In fact, Frecky, who I referenced earlier in the video, I quoted from him, he's going to throw a party, he says, in Vegas. He's been very public about this. As soon as XRP hits $7.50, that's his target price. He says, as soon as that happens, XRP party, it sounds like everyone's invited. I'm going to be there. So it'll be so fun to meet everybody in the future, in particular after this all happens. Not that I'm not willing to do stuff before that. I've been talking about that for some time, actually. But in particular, once it's all done, it'll just be so fun to get together with people that actually went through this together and just like kind of laugh at how ridiculous the ride has been. It's going to be so life-changing for so many people. But again, that doesn't mean there's not risk. Just be careful out there. Make adult decisions. Keep your emotion in check. And there is life-changing wealth to be made. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.